Hey Deb, so I promised you I'd get you a plantar fasciitis sort of overview on what I did. It's easier just to do a video because there's some pieces to it. So without any further ado, here's what I did to cure mine. And just for that, I had a chronic case that had gone on for a long time and gotten very bad. It was in my heel, so it was at point of attachment, which might be different from someone who's got it someplace else within the plantar fascia. But point of attachment in the heel, chronic case. And this is what worked for me. So, first off, this is probably the best thing to do. Take a look at this. All right. So, doctor, massage therapy, tools, rest. Right? And then time and stretching. That's really the process. Okay, so we'll go through each of them very quickly. So, doctor, one, make sure he is a sports podiatrist. Not just any podiatrist, a sports podiatrist. There are a couple of good ones I can recommend in New York. I don't know them outside the area, but sports podiatrist is key. This guy happens to be, the sports podiatrist for Long Island Lizards. He was the medical professional supporting the New York Marathon, New York Triathlon. Those are the guys you're looking for. Somebody who understands the sports aspect of the feet because it's a little bit different, and they have special tools. Or they're a really big podiatrist and have a big office with a lot of equipment because there's some things they need that work really well. Go back here. One of them is EPAT. Okay, so that stands for electrocardial pulse something therapy. Okay, so long story short, what that is you need the EPAT. That to me was the absolute cure, and that was one of the reasons that I got fixed. Okay. Read up on it. EPAT, it sends a sonic wave into your foot and actually breaks up that bad tissue, creating blood flow, etc. That's one thing you need a doctor for. The other one is, again, huge benefit here, traumeel injections. All right, Tramueel, Traumeel. It's an injection. You can get it as a pill. The pill doesn't help. The injection, they inject right into that specific area that's a problem, and it's an anti-inflammatory. It acts kind of like a cortisone injection, but it's homeopathic. Read up on it. It's another lifesaver. You really need the traumeel injections. And on that list, number 4 under doctor, orthotics. Got to get a pair of orthotics. In fact, you really have to get 2. All right, you need the sports ones that are going to go in your running shoe. Here, kind of bigger, thicker. Boom. Right. So these are one of my pairs of orthotics. I have several. They're about $500 a pair. You got to get a prescription for it, and then they build them for you. Sometimes insurance covers it. I think insurance covered mine. Yes, they did. And then I have a pair for my dress shoes, right? Because if you spend all the money on this and all the time to try and fix that, you got to have something in your dress shoes, which you're in 8 hours a day. So you got to have dress shoes ones. Sometimes they just make these things as like half, like so this part's kind of gone, so that just has the heel and so forth. What I did with all my dress shoes, I've gone into my $700 Allen Edmonds shoes, and I've torn out all the insoles and all the crap that's there, and I've replaced them with these. So I have one pair of these. I swap them for all my dress shoes. There we go. Okay, so that's orthotic sports. Okay, that's the doctor piece of it. Okay, so you've got to kind of do all that stuff. That's number 1. You can't do anything until you get the doctor. So you got to find a good sports podiatrist. Number 2, massage therapist. Huge help for me, mainly because a lot of the plantar fasciitis problems come from. I'm looking over here. I don't know why I'm looking up there. I should be looking over here. A lot of the plantar fasciitis problems come from really tight calves or calf problems or alignment issues. So find a good sports massage therapist. Get her or him to work on your feet and your calves. Get all that to loosen up, and you'll start to see the plantar fasciitis problems start to dissipate a little bit over time, as long as you're doing the doctor piece as well. So that's another key thing. I was going every 2 weeks just for really good leg work, essentially, and then supplement that with stretching, because you got to stretch out all that stuff to keep everything loose. So that was stretching. That's actually down here, so I'll mention that right now. You gotta get a couple of stretches. You get the big toe stretches, right? So you take your foot, and you kind of bend it like this, and you're really stretching that big toe, both feet. That'll stretch the whole bottom of your foot. And then your calf stretches, and a couple of different type of calf stretches. Any good sports podiatrist will give you those stretches as well. You gotta take some time to rest. It's gonna take. Mine took 1.5 years. Life. tools. All right, this is what you saw me using. This is what I was going to talk about. There are no tools that you can buy. I made up all these tools based on things that I've learned, and they absolutely work. The one tool you can buy is a night brace. Okay, so a night brace works like this. See this guy? I just put this on at night. I sleep with it. And what it does, it keeps my foot like this rather than bending over to the side. Well, it can still bend to the side, but your foot is still at a certain angle rather than kind of like, if you're like sleeping like this, all of a sudden your foot starts falling like that. That takes the tension off the plantar fascia, the plantar fascia that you just spent all day stretching, and it causes it to ball up and become problematic. So the first thing you do when you get out of bed in the morning is you stretch that back by standing up, and it kills. That's what this is for. You wear this at night. I still wear mine a year and a half later. It doesn't bother me. I actually kind of like it now. The other tool you actually can buy, this calf roller, right? So this is for this sort of keeps that calf stretched out. Again, you got to keep the calf stretched out. I mentioned that earlier. This is the tool you saw me with. I also have another one. This. Okay. What this is nothing special. This is something I bought after reading something about what's called the Graston technique. This is a pin to a this is a pin to a hitch, a ball hitch on the back of a car. I like this for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's pretty big. You can see I can really get a good grip on it. I'm going to tell you what it's used for in a second. And then I made this. I went to Home Depot and I got a piece of, what this is, about 3/4 inch bar steel, which is kind of thick, right? So boom, kind of thick. And then what I did is I took my grinder, as you can see that front edge, there you go, that's a good profile of it, right? I ground that down smooth and rounded it off. I use these for a couple of things. Basically, let's see if I can do this here. I like Tiger Balm. Not everybody likes Tiger Balm. It stinks. But I like Tiger Balm. Okay. So what I do with this guy, take a little Tiger Balm. This is important. This is kind of your self-care. Let's see if I get back far enough. There we go. That should work. Take a little Tiger Balm and I put it on the bottom of my foot. Again, my problem was right there. So kind of rub that in there. And then this is what I use this for. This is basically the same thing your massage therapist is doing. I'm doing here. Again, I like this particular piece because it's got this kind of rounded edge to it. Essentially what I do is I hold my foot up like this. Ah, yeah, it already feels good. And again, my problem is here. So I can use this piece of metal to get a lot of leverage into the bottom of my foot. And I can work out the knots and the balls that I get in that plantar fascia right here, that point of attachment. I can kind of work them out. The other thing I can do, I can just go up and down the bottom of my foot. Now this is the same technique that when I did go to physical therapy, which I found completely useless, this is one of the only things I found that actually was useful at physical therapy. Is they actually did exactly this. They had some fancy medical tools that cost a lot of money because I actually looked them up. So you can buy a tool, I lied earlier, but it's going to run you $100. This pin is going to run you $6 at Home Depot or at an auto parts store. You're probably better off finding this at an auto parts store. So again, you kind of do this. I hold my toe up, so I'm stretching my big toe, and I go wherever my plantar fascia, which attaches from here all the way back to here. So I'm just doing this, just rubbing it here, putting a little pressure on it. The pressure actually feels good. I'm massaging myself. I really can work it in this part, right? It feels great. My foot feels better already. All right, I didn't even need it this morning. So, same thing with this bar. This bar does it a little bit differently, right? So I can stretching that out. It grips a little bit differently. Sometimes two hands. It's just stretching the plantar fascia. That's all it's doing. So totally simple, no big deal there. Calf roller I showed you about, you gotta stretch out your calf. Do your normal stretches, the brace, the rest of the time. Again, mine took over a year and a half, okay? I did not figure out the orthotics for 6 months, okay? I didn't figure out the benefit of the doctor or the EPAT for 6 to 8 months. I didn't figure out that, I had to go start, getting my own tools and get out of physical therapy. The first 6 months I tried physical therapy, all this crap, didn't do anything. Once I figured all this stuff out, it probably solved itself within 3 to 4 months. So my year and a half is just sort of what it took me, because it took a long time to figure it out. But hopefully it doesn't take anybody else that long. So this has been 10 minutes. Hopefully this is enough. I gave you my little cheat sheet here. All right, this is it. This is what you need to do. This is your step-by-step. All right. Hopefully this helps. It worked for me. The doctor, I think, is the most key. I'm just looking at my list. Doctor's the most key, and then probably getting one of these to just do that massage, and the orthotics. Right. So the orthotics are under doctor. EPAT, tracheal injections. Got to inject it. I didn't talk about that. They literally take this homeopathic stuff and they inject it right into the bottom of your foot, and it releases all the swelling. It makes things glide better. Super worth it. You basically get a tracheal injection about once every either week or every other week. You do 3 injections. With EPAT, it's kind of the same thing. About once every other week. So every 2 weeks, you're getting the EPAT. EPAT is kind of the thing that looks almost like a wand, like a ultrasound, and they put it right on the bottom of your foot, and it injects little shock waves in there, and it hurts. It hurts in a good way, but only for a short period of time. You do that 3 times. You read up on it. It's amazing, amazing. That probably got me further faster than anything else. So hopefully this helps. Talk to you soon. Thanks for letting us stay with you. It's awesome.